most painful thing isn't a cut or a broken nose. The most painful thing is seeing the people you made memories with slowly become memories.
What you just listened to was a monologue by Madara Uchiha, who is a fictional character in Naruto Shippuden, voiced in English by Neil Kaplan. And apart from the fact that delivery is fantastic and the wordings are just immaculate, my name is Ali Mohammed Tarfa, the Fizikage. On this episode, we'll be discussing self-healing from pain. Self-healing from pain. Let's get it. Almost every problem we have in our lives that isn't external comes from discontent and not being okay with who we are, where we are, and what we are. Some of us have learned to hide from our anxiety of loss by taking solace in being bigger than, seemingly better than others to ensure that they stay at our mercy. Some of us are so scared of being at another person's mercy because we know what it's like to be disappointed, perhaps dejected when we are at our most vulnerable. Some of us have so drunk the poison of fear from social media and inherited enemies from our predecessors that we can only see negativity in everything, and so we see the worst in people. Some of us only know malice and unforgiveness because we think that being bold enough to be accountable gives away our only power. Holding grudges means we get to hold on to the idea that a person is indebted to us. Some of us are the most religious, but are the first to turn others needing faith away from the light because our false lights only poison other people's hopes for good in the world. We are spiteful, cunning, vengeful, manipulative to suit our interests, becoming people who do not realize that being right doesn't mean we can't be wrong in the course of seeking our brand of justice. Now, justice that looks like vengeance is just vengeance in disguise, isn't it? Well, Nagato puts it best in his speech on vengeance.
Everyone feels the same pain when losing something dear. You and I have both experienced that pain. You strive for your justice, and I strive for mine. We're both just ordinary men who have been driven to seek vengeance in the name of justice. And if one comes to call vengeance justice, such justice will only breed further vengeance and trigger a vicious cycle of hatred. Right now, we live in such a cycle. I know the past and can foretell our future. It is the same as our history. So we believe that human beings simply cannot understand each other, and they never will.
Am I a moral authority? Nah. I'm just as curious as you are as to why we are the way we are in spite of some of what could be considered our better natures. One thing stands out to me. If we do not heal, we will kill everything we touch with the poison of vengeance over that which we lost at a time we were vulnerable. Now, there's a difference between being vulnerable and being transparent. Generally, being transparent, we are communicating our true thoughts and feelings honestly, with lower risk. When we are being vulnerable, we are being transparent emotionally in situations that make us uncomfortable and have a significantly higher risk involved with those disclosures. So doing so could cause us to feel shame, anxiety, pain, stress, basically opens us up to harm, the possibility of harm. In a quote by Stacey Carter, which I wanted to bring up, she says, "Don't rely on someone else for your happiness and self-worth. Only you can be responsible for that. If you can't love and respect yourself, no one else will be able to make that happen. Accept who you are completely, the good and the bad, and make changes as you see fit. Not because you think someone else wants you to be different. Well, this is where it ends, but just to go on to say, but because, like she said, you want to be different, you want to be better. Here are some steps to help us heal ourselves. So number one is accept yourself. Most people often don't realize that the problem is that we don't accept the person we are now. You know, we have so many versions of ourselves, like we're into some kind of multiverse, you know. We have these other versions of the person we rather want to be, and occasionally think of the person that we used to be. So, oh, I used to travel the world. I used to have this. I used to have latest this. I used to do this. I used to be this. I used to be with this person. All of this stuff is in, you know, future and past. So we trap ourselves living in the past and the future at the same time without ever being present in the now. The reason you hate your life so much is that you catch a glimpse of today and it doesn't look anything like what you want for tomorrow. And because of that, you hate yourself for it. But nah, come on. You are more than your future past. You are more than just the two of those variables. You are where you are for a reason, and there's a purpose to this part of your journey. Like I try to say and remind myself and also say on the podcast, you are on a journey. It's not destination. Even if you were going from point A to point B, a whole part of that experience is the journey. How did you get there? Did you fly? How was the flight? What did you see? Who did you sit next to? Did they have a nice book they're reading? Did you notice something really interesting about the snacks that you were served? You know, did you go by a road? You know, when you pass a particular state, did you stop by and buy plantain chips? Things like these, they make up the journey, you know. You can have a road trip, a simple journey, and you could meet some of the most captivating people you ever meet in your life. And the funny thing about it is, outside of that journey, you guys may never meet again. Life is that kind of journey where we are meeting people at different bus stops, at different places, at different, you know, checkpoints, and we may just diverge into different journeys altogether. So understand that where you are for a reason. Focus yourself. Don't run away from yourself, because doing that won't save you from your reality, which is why I started with wake up to reality. Now, number two, don't give up on what is important to you. Stay consistent. I want to even say, if you haven't listened to the episode with Mr. Kosisi, you might want to go back and listen to that. But basically, nearly all dreams take time to come true. But if we stay motivated, have a definite desire, and make an effort every day, you don't have to make the biggest, it doesn't have to be 100. Make an effort. If all you're doing is an effort every single day, it didn't work the first time, it didn't work the second time, it was difficult, yes, but you made an effort. Sometimes these things, as crazy as you want to be better at something, let's say X, you got to get used to trying and not being perfect at it until you get it right. And even then, you won't be perfect, you'll be excellent, but that's the point. So a lot of us give up on this dream long before the moment that we're supposed to reach that checkpoint comes, and then we feel disappointed with ourselves and we say, what could it have been if we kept working on our goal and achieved it? And it just ultimately makes us punish ourselves. Do not punish yourself. This brings us to point number 3. Forgive yourself. You may have failed. It may be you who caused something bad to happen. You broke someone's heart and left something you wanted incomplete. Maybe it was a resolution, maybe it was a certification, a course you were taking, something you left undone. Maybe it was the fact that you haven't been the best person to your family members, to your loved ones. You've not been the best friend. You've let yourself down because you found yourself doing things that you shouldn't have been involved in the first place. Things you said you'll never do, you have done. And now you feel like a hypocrite. Living with the guilt and that awful feeling of having made a mistake is just harmful to your soul. It's not to say you don't acknowledge the fact that you made mistakes, but to understand that you need to forgive yourself. Now, adding to this, you also have to forgive others. Unforgiveness is a weight. We've talked about weights in the last episode. Unforgiveness is a weight. Let it go. If you don't, then it's like fumigating your room or house to rid the space of mosquitoes and bugs, but leaving the door or window open for more bugs to say hello to you in your sleep. And trust me, you don't want that. You don't forgive who hurt you, what hurt you. You carry around an air that feels like you are still a victim. You are still walking around with bandages that have come open over wounds that you haven't you've not let heal. You will revisit those wounds each time something familiar comes up, even if in truth they are not related to the same person's time and place. This is why you'd meet new people and punish good intentions with your unhealed heart, mind, and expectations. Forgive yourself, forgive others. Forgiveness is a good step in pursuit of self-healing. It's not so much what you are doing for them, it's also what you're doing for you. You are decluttering, you're removing load and weight and noise and burdens that slow you down. Number 4, don't be a people pleaser. I think everyone needs to see that for themselves, but the sooner we realize it, the better. Don't bother yourself with what people think about you, whether they like you or not, or living up to their expectations of you. Everyone has their own life they are living. As much as we think everyone is paying us mind, we are the main feature of everybody's life. Trust me, people have their own things to worry about. And with things getting tougher and tougher around the world, it just means this is more and more true. Number 5, listen to yourself. Just like the previous point, we often need to weigh people's opinions of us and all that, but imagine if we're listening to ourselves. It's sad that we think other people's opinion of us is more important to us. So for example, if your boss says be somewhere at 8 o'clock, you would be there at 8 o'clock. But if you tell yourself, I'll be here at 8 o'clock, a lot of people don't show up at 8 o'clock at all, or even show up at all. Because we call the shots, we are not accountable to ourselves. We don't listen to what we set for ourselves. It's a wrong way to live life. And I think it would be way more beneficial if we listen to ourselves, not just our bodies, our minds, our hearts, our spirits. Let that compass guide you, that spiritual compass. Let the Holy Spirit guide you. Let that discerning, that silent voice, that still voice speak to you. Listen to it. It's within you. It's not just outside you. It's also within you. Listen to it. Okay? You will have that inner compass. Number 6, be kind to yourself. Don't be too harsh. It's basically like talking about forgiveness. If you failed, it's okay. Accept it. Acknowledge that, yes, I made a mistake. I failed. I slipped up. If you stole, if you cheated, if you lied, if you were a bad partner, if you were a bad parent at some point, if you were a bad brother, sister, terrible son, daughter, if you've been a bad co-worker, you've been a bad staff, you've been a bad employer, you've been a bad manager, you've been any of these things, and you catch yourself, don't be too harsh. If something hasn't turned out the way you expected, it's okay, and it probably wasn't even under your control. Being more stoic, you'd understand that not everything is in your control, but what is in your control, just own it. If you've disappointed yourself, get over it. You'll do better next time. Being kind to yourself is as important as forgiving. They're not the same thing, but yeah, they're equally as important. They are both processes that define what the relationship with your true self will be, and things would be better in the future if you make it a good one. If you make a relationship with yourself a good one, trust me, that's one relationship you don't have to worry about. But if your relationship with yourself is bad, you can't make better relationships outside of you. You can't make good relationships outside of you. You're going to have consistent problems with your friends, with your family, with your workers, with your everything. Everything you meet and everything you touch outside of you is going to suffer because inside of you is not at peace. So start with the man in the mirror. Number 7, trust yourself. Make and keep the promises that you make to yourself, right? You make promises, keep the promises to yourself. Learn to count on yourself. If I say I'm going to help myself get some good sleep, within your power, when it gets to 10 o'clock, put your phone down, put everything away, and just lay there and try and relax. Because losing trust in yourself usually occurs after failing in developing a new habit many times, procrastinating or not doing something important to you, and then you realize it's all your fault because there are no outer factors to blame. You can't blame your parents, you can't blame your siblings, you can't blame your friends, you can't blame anybody. It's just you in the room. So no excuses, right? Number 8, understand yourself. Understand yourself. I've always said this thing about whys. Always know your why. Why do you do what you do? That is an important thing to know, so that you know how to get better, you know what to change, you know what convictions to work on. Think about what you think about and analyze your desires and needs, your wants and needs. Understand, why am I acting this way? Why am I fighting this person? Why am I not at peace with this environment? Why don't I do this? Why don't I do that? Why do I have this feeling of something is wrong? Why do I have this? Listen to yourself. Understand yourself too. You need to understand yourself as much as possible. Number 9, appreciate yourself. You know what? Wow. Appreciate yourself. Be grateful for who you are, for your journey. You know, if it took you a lot of time to get to where you are, appreciate the fact that you're getting there regardless. The hardships and experiences you've had are unique to you. So appreciate the uniqueness of your story. Appreciate your efforts and enjoy the person that you've become and also the person you are becoming. Those two people, give them appreciation. Be grateful for them. Thank God for you. Thank God for your story. Thank God for the fact that you've messed up and now you're back to God and say, hey, God, I need you. I need your help. So do that. Number 10, love yourself, right? It's one, everybody's talking about self-love these days, but yeah, simply love yourself, right? Love yourself. Love is not just a feeling. I've said this before. It's a lot of wonderful things. You have to be patient with yourself. You know, you have to be kind to yourself. A lot of the things on this list will really be okay for you if you love yourself. You choose whether you always be wishing you were someone else. If you're thinking you love someone else more than yourself, then you're already in trouble. If you love yourself, then loving another person from that love is easier to do, because you're sharing what you already have. You're giving from what it is that you already have. So love yourself. An easy way to love yourself the way God loves you. Look at how you're loved by God and take that and run with it, right? If you love yourself too, you won't fight some fights. You won't take on more than you're supposed to take on. You know, you rejoice in who you are, your true nature, and you won't be trying to hide your true nature. You won't be trying to please other people, because you love yourself. You don't want to do drugs to make your friends happy. You don't want to go for parties with people you don't even like. You don't want to have to spend your savings to buy clothes to impress people you do not even like. This is it. 10 points. I think this is a good one. Hope you enjoyed this episode. If you have, leave an awesome comment. Share with someone who needs this. Stay blessed. Stay awesome. Till next time. I'm Salim Mohammed Tarifa, the Physicagi on the Physi Speaks, telling you to have an awesome week. Peace.